Indie animation has been around for many years, yet has only recently skyrocketed with shows like The Amazing Digital Circus and Murder Drones. Now, there are lots of indie animated shows out there, and I have still yet to talk about many of them. Despite this, however, this video isn't entirely about indie animation. Dreamworks has created some childhood classics such as the Kung Fu Panda movies, the Shrek movies, How to Train Your Dragon movies, and so on and so forth. I myself have watched these movies when I was younger and loved them, although I didn't watch the How to Train Your Dragon movies, and if I did, I don't really remember them. They're probably good though, so. After the success of one of my previous videos where I talked about Disney characters and how bad they were compared to Murder Drones characters, which you should definitely go check out, it got me thinking. I had a lot of fun writing that video and the script and everything, but overall it wasn't exactly a fair fight. Indie animation has way more recognizable stuff that's good and semi-recent compared to Disney, so what's a harder battle for indie animation? Well, from the title of this video, you should probably know that the opponent for indie animation in this video is Dreamworks. Now, before you say I'm biased and I'm just gonna talk about the bad movies and stuff, just know that I also have nostalgia with these movies, so this was a very hard video to plan out and write. I'm gonna have to limit the amount of power that Dreamworks actually has because of the amount of movies they have released. Because if I just compared all the movies from Dreamworks and then all the products of indie animation, Dreamworks would win because of the sheer amount of movies they've released. It's like comparing an 8-year-old who's good at a sport and then a professional player who's like 25 and has been playing the sport since he was 8. It's not fair. Now, I could just end the video there, make a short, and move on with life, but one, that's not a really good short idea, and two, I think indie animation does do some things better than some classics like Kung Fu Panda or Shrek or anything else. I still want to give my thoughts about it in a fair way for indie animation, so for the sake of the video, I won't be talking about every single Dreamworks movie. I will only be talking about movies I remember liking or just watched in general. These movies include Shrek 1 and 2, all 3 Kung Fu Panda movies, we don't talk about the 4th one, Puss in Boots and the Last Wish, and Megamind. Now, I know for sure that I missed one of your favorite movies, whether that be the entire How to Train Your Dragon franchise or some other movie I haven't heard of yet, but that would make the video too long, and I'd also have to watch all those movies, and I really don't feel like doing that. The only chance that I'm gonna talk about those movies again, comparing them to indie animation, is if this video blows up and gets like 5k likes or something. Moving on to the indie animation side, we have the obvious choices like The Amazing Digital Circus, Murder Drones, Lackadaisy, Hello Boss, and I'm also going to include Hazbin Hotel, even though it's not technically considered indie animation. Indie animation side's gonna need all the help it can get. Now comes for the 2 shows that probably most of you have never heard of, and it's a bit obscure, at least in the sphere I'm currently in with the indie animated community. It gets millions of views, so it's not that obscure, but whatever. Shows I am going to talk about are Alan Becker's Animation vs. Animator and Animation vs. Minecraft series. Wait, no, why are you scrolling away? Don't leave, please. Hear me out, please. Hear. That's right, I'm putting these 2 goofy series about stick figures in my video, and if you don't believe that this is useful, you will realize later in the video how much they really carry the indie animation side. So the ground is set, 7v7, indie animation's biggest shows versus DreamWorks classics that I remember. So yes, there will be spoilers for all those movies and all those shows I have mentioned, so you are warned now. First, let's discuss comedy. Comedy, especially certain types of comedy, can vary in affectability by person. One person can like dark humor and dislike goofy comedy bits, and the other person vice versa. Every movie or show I listed had a go at comedy, with all the Dreamworks movies doing a great job at comedy. I had a nickel for every time my family quoted something from Megamind. I'd have, I don't know, $1. The Megamind movie was hilarious and doesn't interfere with the deep emotional meanings that the movie has. The Shrek has funny moments, as you all probably and hopefully know, but then again, it mostly never really interferes to the main plot too much. Kung Fu Panda also has hilarious moments and still has beautiful moments like in the second movie when Po finds inner peace. However, for indie animation, it's a bit complicated and different. Murder Drones, for example, has jokes sprinkled throughout the show, but the comedy in the pilot is way different from the most recent episode as I'm making this video, which is episode 7. Humor in Murder Drones does interfere with the suspense and tension of the scene, which is a common criticism of the show, and a criticism I even talked about in my previous video, which you should definitely check out. There are still moments in Murder Drones that got a little chuckle out of me or whatever. Overall, it does comedy decently, but it could still be better. The Amazing Digital Circus, well, it has comedy, but doesn't really make me chuckle, I guess. Lackadaisy isn't centered around comedy as far as I know, and the Alan Becker series don't exactly have too much comedy. There's a little in there, but there isn't any talking in the series, which is an impressive feat by itself, but I'll get to that later, along with summary. But for now, I'm talking about comedy, and neither series have any outstanding comedy bits. Hello Boss and Hazbin Hotel have comedy, yes, despite it being more mature, it's still funny. I remember watching the Hazbin Hotel show with my brother and having a decent laugh every once in a while. However, Hazbin Hotel has a problem with humor being in spots that they really shouldn't be. Sir Penchus, one of the main cast members and main characters, dies in a very joking way, but is treated like a very serious thing. He gets vaporized in a way that makes him look ridiculous, yet the main cast is like, oh no, he died, we're so sad, which was not very good. Elva Boss has a little bit less of that problem, yet still has that problem with comedy points ruining some bits in the show. Some comedy bits are just dragged on for way too long and it makes you want to skip ahead to when the joke is over. So overall, comedy-wise, Dreamworks wins this point. Now let's move on to who does character development better. Character development gives a character more depth and, well, character development. These character development scenes can range from the opening flashback, a character helping someone else open up. There are many more examples, but it would take way too long to list all of those. To start, Murder Drones has a lot of these scenes spread out across all of their episodes, which is a good thing. These scenes range from N sparing Uzi's life in episode 1, Uzi being vulnerable to her death in episode 2, Uzi asking for help in episode 3, Uzi opening up to N in 4, and revealing his horrific events in the past in 5, Uzi and N holding hands in 6, and Uzi running away from N in 7. Those are just a few scenes out of the many more character development scenes we get to see throughout the entire show. These scenes mostly give Uzi character development, which is a good thing, and it gets a little bit less character development, yet still a lot of character development, which is again good. However, this isn't always a good thing. Character named V in the show gets little to no character development, and J is basically just a background character at this point. In fact, the idea that J gets no character development ever in the show is a video idea by itself, which I'll probably make after episode 8 comes out. So overall, Murder Drones does a semi-decent job with their characters, yet can massively improve on their distribution of character development. The Meets Digital Circus, despite being a character-driven show, is even worse, not giving enough character development to their other characters. Sure, Pomni has a good amount of character development, but no one else really does. Characters like Zubul get little to no screen time, which means little to no development. They are literally sidelined for the only 2 episodes out right now as of making this video, and get literally just like 1 minute of screen time total. So the Amazing Digital Circus definitely can improve. Still pretty early in its show making process, however, so I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt for now. The show Animator vs. Minecraft, or AVM for short, on the other hand, well, I'll just tell you. The antagonist is this guy, King Orange. He lost his son in an accident caused by Minecraft. Just bear with me here, it's better if you just watch the show, but whatever. King Orange swears revenge and tries to destroy all of Minecraft, which doesn't exactly sound that bad until you realize that every single mob or animal in the game is basically sentient, so he's committing mass genocide. He only has one real quote-unquote follower, Purple. This revenge mission, King Orange sees the main protagonists. Red, orange, but looks like this, blue, green, and yellow. Orange and Purple fight against these protagonists, slowly destroying Minecraft as they go on, which again is like committing mass genocide. Green eventually convinces Purple to switch sides after Purple opens up about how his dad left him and his mom died. Yes, this is still without any dialogue. Yes, this is still the same show about goofy stick figures playing around with Minecraft. As King Orange is slowly destroying Minecraft, Purple tries to stop him, and King Orange basically starts slowly disintegrating him. King Orange then starts seeing the parallels between Purple and his son and realizes that Purple is just like the son that he lost. He regrets his actions and decides to save Purple, taking him in as a son. He also stops destroying Minecraft and stuff. Just to be clear, it is a lot more complicated than that, and I highly recommend watching this show because it is honestly a masterpiece considering that there is 0 dialogue in the entire thing. Now, if none of that made sense to you, don't worry, because all you really need to know is that that show has a lot of character development equally spread out as much as it can throughout all of its characters, even the antagonist. Now let's look at the Dreamworks side a little bit. The Kung Fu Panda series has many characters, with the character getting the most character development being Po. In the first movie, you see him go through many stages, starting out with thinking he doesn't belong, to trying to fit in with the Furious 5, to training with Master Shifu, to ultimately being able to defeat Tai Lung in the end. Second movie, Po goes through a carefully crafted arc in dealing with his forgotten trauma of his mom dying, and in the end finds inner peace, which by itself is a beautiful scene. Now let's move on from Kung Fu Panda and talk about Puss in Boots and The Last Wish. The main character, Puss in Boots, starts off as a very arrogant person with no real sense for what he is doing. Because he is a cat, he has 9 lives and basically uses all of them up but 1. This means that once he dies, he just stays dead instead of respawning. But even after being told this, he still doesn't care, saying that he'll just go back to the dangerous things that he normally does. If you've watched the movie, you know what ends up chasing him throughout the entire movie, which I would say who it was, but then again, half the people watching this probably didn't heed my spoiler warning at the beginning of the video, so I'm not gonna say who. Throughout the events of the movie, he meets his old partner, Kitty Safaz, and a dog named Pierto. You can slowly see him change throughout the entire movie, asking for help and becoming a better person. Overall, Dreamworks and Indie Animation handle character development very well most of the time. I find it very difficult to judge which one did it better, however, I'm going to have to give the point to Dreamworks. The side of Indie Animation is heavily carried by AVM, and although other shows have their own a little bit, we still have to take into account that AVM can't just represent all of Indie Animation by itself. Works movies I picked were more consistent with their character development, which is why they get the point on this one. Now let's move on to a section I've been looking forward to, the animation itself. Animation can obviously heavily impact a show or movie, making it or breaking it. If a show or movie has bad enough animation, it can distract from the actual events of the movie or show. So even if the movie plot is amazing, if the animation is horrible, no one's gonna really watch it and really recognize it, except for maybe 30 years later. I'm happy to say that that is not true for any of the movies or shows that I picked, but I do have my nitpicks. Let's start off with Dreamworks, and more specifically Shrek. Now Shrek was made in a time where the goal of indie animation was to be as realistic and close to real life as possible, which causes things to easily end up looking gruff or uncanny. Now I do have to say, despite Shrek 1 and 2 being great movies, they still have probably the worst animation out of all these movies and shows. Not saying that their animation is bad, just saying that out of these movies and shows, they probably have the worst. Most of the movies I picked for Dreamworks don't stand out too much. Yes, they are good. I'd be lying if I said they weren't. Like how Po sends Tai Lung to the spirit realm, beautiful scene, loved it. Or how the Megamind style really helps the movie pop out and be more appealing, and how the Puss in Boots in the Last Wish movie is animated in a style similar to the Spider-Verse movies. All this is good, but this is where indie animation really starts to earn some points. Now let's start off small, or big, whichever way you want to see it, with the Amazing Digital Circus. I've seen some criticism about the animation being a bit wacky, but personally I don't really find anything wrong with it. Now I've rewatched the series a few times, and I mean, it's made by Glitch, like come on, it's not going to be that bad. I like the goofy aspect of it, the colorful characters and the backgrounds are great, but nothing really too much about it stands out. Switch over to Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss, and again, nothing too special. However, the fight scenes are something Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss are great at, and the final battle in Hazbin Hotel is amazing, and the lighting in Hell of a Boss, especially in the full moon episode, is amazing. Back to Glitch, where we have Murder Drones. Murder Drones has great animation. It's even more impressive when you realize that the animators have to animate the reflections in the drone's visors, which can take a lot of time. Colors and mood and a consistent theme of the animation is amazing. I love the dark and gritty aspect of it, and it really took a step up in the most recent episode as of making this video, again, episode 7. Fight scene between En and Sin is amazing. The camera angles are great, the way it circles around the fight is amazing, and when I watched it the first time, I physically wanted to jump out of my chair in amazement. Overall, again, Murder Drones, amazing animation. If we only took those 4 shows compared to the Dreamworks movies I picked, it would be a pretty decent fight, but no, I'm not done yet. Lackadaisy has even better animation. The opening scene for its pilot alone is amazing. They show music, the glowing lights of the city in the background, the Mississippi River, everything looks so good. And for the cherry on top, we have AVA, or animator versus animation. And for another cherry on top, we have the scene where the main character, the Second Coming, awakens, and you know what, I'll just show you. I think it's obvious that indie animation won this round, and the amount of passion put into these shows is amazing. By no means am I saying, however, that the animators at Dreamworks don't put any passion in their work, but indie animation shows just have a way of making some scenes just the best animated scenes I have ever seen. But that's enough for animation for now. Let's talk about the OST, or official soundtrack. Music can, like animation, heavily impact a show or movie. A good soundtrack in, let's say, an intense scene can really get your heart rate going up and make you sit on the edge of your seat. So I'm going to be talking about these OSTs on how well they go with the story and not how well they go with a regular listen. Now let's start with Dreamworks again. I would give you examples of which songs help the movies, which ones improve the scene, but I couldn't because most of the songs in Dreamworks movies aren't memorable, at least to me, except for maybe Rockstars because of Shrek. I'm sure that the songs and music and everything and the score for these movies are amazing, but I couldn't name any of the songs individually. I couldn't name any of the songs or individual songs used in Megamind except for maybe Bad to the Bone, which, now that I think about it, are just songs made by other artists not specifically meant to be in that movie, yet still are. Sure, the songs go well with the movie, but it's not exactly meant for that movie specifically. So just using other songs made by other artists that weren't specifically meant for that movie compared to indie animation, which makes their entire score just from scratch and maybe by like one or two people, it kind of starts leaning towards the indie animation side. I named probably all the songs in the Murder Drones OST because I took the time out of my day to go and find that playlist online. I can't say the same for Shrek or Kung Fu Panda or any of the other movies. One of the Amazing Digital Circus songs got so popular because it was a literal meme. Also in the second episode, when one of the characters in the Amazing Digital Circus was having a mental breakdown, the music helps it so much. Without the music, it probably would have been a horrible scene, but with the music, you can really feel the existential dread the character is feeling. So not only does indie animation literally make their own music instead of just buying the rights to another song, the music itself goes along with the story mostly a lot of the time. And I'm not even going to talk about Hazbin Hotel literally being a musical along with Hell of a Boss. Even without Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss, indie animation still takes the win on this because of how original their soundtrack is and how memorable it is. Now, by no means am I saying that the soundtrack to any of the Dreamworks movies I picked are bad. I'm just saying that they're not as memorable as some of the OSTs from indie animated shows, which is why indie animation takes the point on this one. Now, if you've been keeping count, you would know that we have a tie 2 for 2. However, I think we have a winner. Both Dreamworks and indie animation are better in their respective things, but one takes an advantage over the other. And that advantage is nostalgia. Dreamworks has made movies that are considered classics by people and necessary to watch. I made a community post a while back asking if you liked indie animation or Dreamworks better, and I got a few comments saying how their favorite movie from Dreamworks would just sweep the entire competition for indie animation, which, one, is factually wrong, but two, also shows the power nostalgia can have on people. As I was planning this video, I talked about it with a friend and we had like an hour-long argument about which side would win. Dreamworks has made so many classics, it's not even fair. I didn't even count all of them, like How to Train Your Dragon. If I added that, or just all the movies in general, still indie animation would probably lose even harder. So that's the end of the story, right? Dreamworks takes the win by a slight edge, and that's it, end of story. Well, not exactly. Although indie animation has lost this battle, I think it will still win the war. See, I didn't mention like Shrek 3 or Kung Fu Panda 4 or the entire Troll franchise. I only mentioned the classics, excluding How to Train Your Dragon, and that obviously gave Dreamworks a chance. I mean, not all of Dreamworks' movies were good. I mean, especially some of their earlier movies are horrible. Also didn't compare indie animation to any of their recent stuff, like that Kraken movie no one remembers, or the Megamind sequel, which nobody liked. Dreamworks has a flaw that every company has, and that's corporate meddling. If people higher up than you think the movie is gonna flop, but they'll just change it until it's a bunch of slop no one asked for. Disney has the biggest problem with this, but Dreamworks still has this problem. Indie animation has hardly found this problem at all. The founders of Glitch stated that they are trying to make cool shows to just help grow the indie animated space. Sure, eventually maybe even indie animated companies like Glitch may fall in the trap Dreamworks and Disney fell into, but true indie animation won't. Indie animation relies more on the audience than a big company does. If no one watches your stuff, you just can't keep going. You're done for. If a big company takes a big loss like in millions of dollars, they can just shrug it off and move on. Sure, after a few of those losses, it might get concerning, but still they can shrug off like a $50 million loss, which an indie animated company definitely cannot. Your main takeaway from this video should be this: even if old classic movies from big companies are better than indie shows, indie animation will stay consistent because indie animation can't lose millions of dollars and be fine with it. They will have to listen to their audience, which will ultimately make them win in the long run. If you like videos like these, consider liking the video, because that will let me know to make more videos like this, and consider subscribing because I want to grow a big number next to my name. If I miss anything, or if you think I'm wrong, leave a comment down below, because I read all of my comments, and as long as it's actually interesting, and an argument, and not just a bunch of rambling and a whole ass essay, I'll probably read it. Anyways, stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.